Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's chatting stream. Your streamer, host. I want to say host. It feels kind of odd. Host Sanish, elder Foxboy VTuber, here to talk about traveling or recent travels. Other things. I have a list here. I made a list. I thought ahead. I planned ahead for once. I had it on my to-do list to make the list for this chatting session for like all week. I did it about half an hour ago. I had an old list from when I was going to do this 3 weeks ago, a month ago. Kind of fell off. I started, I think when I initially started these streams, I wanted to do like, oh, I'll do a chatting stream every Friday, and then I'll do a drawing stream every Friday. And then things started to fall off a bit, as happens. Like I traveled, things came up. I have a relative, I have a sibling going through a rough patch. I was kind of pretty distracting for a bit there. Still going through a rough patch. But we're not here to talk about that. Today we are, checks notes, talking about a recent trip I did. Oh, let's talk about me. I'm in the process of potentially buying a condo. And so I'm not distracted by that, but it's definitely like forefront, top of mind of like, all the decision-making process that goes into it, all the pros, the cons, blah, blah. So I might talk about that later. But first, primarily, background music up. Get that BGM going. I'm going to talk about a recent trip I took. I've been doing a lot more weekend trips than I normally do in the past when I was in like long-term relationships or living on my own in like college. I would tend to do like a lot of bigger trips, I guess, or like more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not stressful. I'm looking at the wrong window. I'm like, why did I look odd? God, what is the right word? I usually get lost for words. Higher production trips. There we go. So like, oh, I'm going to do a 2-week or 3-week trip to Japan, or like, I'm going to go to Hawaii or Costa Rica or like Spain or something. It'd be like a much bigger deal, right? Like months of planning, like, oh, I'm going to these cities. I'm going to research it. I'm going to pick out these hotels, blah, 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 blah. I know that because I'm currently going through it for a Japan trip this fall, which I might talk about later. It's on my list, actually. Not might talk about it. It's on my list. So I will talk about it. What I've been doing recently is with a part of an online. They're probably it might be in the stream with us right now. Local online Discord that started as a bunch of people meeting somewhat randomly online for like, I think it started off like through Reddit posts, word of mouth, friends of friends, that sort of thing. It grew, exploded, it splintered, it fractured. But it's kind of just like it's been around for like a year and a bit now. On Discord of online for local friends, and we've been doing like meetups in person. Some people become closer friends. Some get elevated from like, online acquaintance to met real person, isn't serial killer, friend, close friend. You climb the friendship ranks, get those friendship points, rank up, get those hard events. It's very important. Like, you make sure you get the right gifts so the people like the right things. I'm not saying this, I'm treating this like Stardew Valley, but like, not a bad way to think about it. But part of the things we do is we do hangouts in person. I host like an anime night, but we've been doing some trips together. We kind of did one in the fall, I want to say, to Vancouver, Canada, the good Vancouver. And that's kind of like a trial run trip, right? Like, you don't want to commit to be like, oh, let's do like a 2-week trip to Japan together. And it's like, let's start low stakes. First off, let's have a dinner together. Let's have a meal. Let's meet for boba tea. Let's start there. And then you work your way up. But this was like didn't require airfare. We just booked some hotels, do some carpools. And it was fun. So we've kind of been moving up from there. But the recent trip we went to the Rainforest. For those who don't know, in the United States, we have a temperate rainforest. Most times you think of rainforest, you think of like the tropics, right? You think of like, jungly type things, a lot of vines, very green, macaws, bright birds, monkeys, there's a lot of animals, maybe like a jaguar, if you're imaginative, dragons, pandas, regular rainforest fare. I don't think pandas are in the rainforest, I take it back. But it could be Costa Rica, it could be Puerto Rico, it could be Hawaii, it could be Belize, it could be parts of Australia. Like, a lot of these tropical rainforests exist out there. And that's kind of like you have in your mind. But what we have in the United States, which is not the only one in the world. Rainforest. I realize I need to set up a anonymous browser so I can show things. Okay. Western coast of North America, South America, and southeastern Australia. Where the heck are they in southeastern Australia, man? But so some in South Africa too. Interesting. Oh, some in Ireland. Well, that makes sense. Anyway, temperate rainforests. I love temperate rainforests. I like rainforests in general, but temperate rainforests hold a special place in my heart. One, because of driving distance. So I mildly doxed myself. The K-Fab's blown. Sidebar, I had a friend who's not into VTubers. Not into anime at all. But he started referring to the he posted some clips of us playing Repo. And he was like, oh, are you worried about this other friend using like my first name? And I'm like, oh, it's probably fine. Like, it's a common enough name. Not Sanish. He's pretty good at calling me Sanish these days, but not, just in case we get clips, but not always. I said it's probably fine. I've doxed my name a bunch of times already. But he's like, oh no, you'll break K-Fab. K-Fab, I think it's K-Fab, yeah. K-Fab. And I just had this moment, this deep moment of just like, it's all K-Fab. VTubing is all K-Fab through and through, start to finish. What a wild concept to bring back, like a deep pull from my childhood and teen years when I'd actually watch WWF with my brother. Oh wow! And then play the WWF Raw 60 on N64. What a game! Anyway, so I'm in the Pacific Northwest is what it comes down to, because that's where these rainforests are, and I just had the driving distance. I'm not in Australia. I'm not in South America. So we went to temperate rainforest. And what I love about the temperate rainforest is, one, they're just neat. They're just neat. But the best time to go, the absolute best time to go, if you're thinking about going to a temperate rainforest, let me tell you about the joys of going in winter. None of this summer business. A lot of people go in the summer. Summer is crowded. There's like a famous rainforest shut down at the moment. There's a famous rainforest, but it gets like absolutely packed, just packed in the summer. Because like the major tourist destination for the entire, I don't know, landmass that it's on. Wanda Fugu plate. It's crowded. It's dry. It's nice. The weather's lovely. It's pristine. Blah, 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 blah. But like, hear me out. You're going to a rainforest. Right? It's in the name. The name is rainforest. You're going to get wet. It's going to rain on you. It's going to be drippy. It's going to be soggy. There's going to be puddles. Go in winter. Just go in. It's cheaper. There's like nobody around, so you're like on the trails and like doing things on your own. If you're lucky, if you're fortunate, if you're blessed by the weather gods above, you'll get snow, which is a great experience. I realized I could have pulled up some previous photos from past trips I've done to the rainforest. But I had one year where I went and it snowed and the snow stuck on the ground. Like the roads are fine. But like having a rainforest blanketed in snow is a bizarre, surreal experience. It's like 10 out of 10 out of 10 experience. But if you're wondering, this photo's right. First photo, don't fail me. What does a rainforest look like? Like you talked a lot about this rainforest. You're talking a big game about this rainforest there, Fox Boy. Here's what a temperate rainforest looks like. I took this photo from a bridge. Don't cover my face. By the way, I saved these from my iPhone to iCloud to sync to my desktop here, and it saved it in like some wonky ass .heic file that's Apple proprietary, and OBS was like, nah man, I don't know what that is. I had to resave everything. Pain in the ass, Apple. People with their proprietary formats. Disgusting. They disgust me. So here's the temperate rainforest. I don't realize I don't have a mouse. Get on each studio. I don't have a mouse or a pointer, do I? I wonder if there's a way to have like a laser pointer, or a presenter pointer. But it's wet. There's moss. You can see these trees up in the top of the photo here. It's wet. It's covered in moss. There's sword ferns just chock-a-block everywhere. Everything's a sword fern. You're a sword fern. I'm a sword fern. You leave, a sword fern's growing out of you. Water's flowing everywhere. It's damp. That's great. It's absolutely great. We did like a 4-mile hike. And the thing that shocked me is we'll get into organizing later. But I told everyone this is going to be miserable. It's going to be wet. It's going to be cold. And I still got 8 people to join me. I'm just like, I should start a cult, man. Get that going. Unfortunately, not all of them liked nor subscribed to my channel. Very rude. Very rude. It's temperate rainforest. There's like this. The one problem is it's pretty remote. Olympic Peninsula, fairly remote. Not much in the way of facilities, of lodgings. Not much in the way of lodgings. Oh, a bit too big. But there is one I recommend. There's a series of great lodges. A series of great lodges that were built and exist through a lot of the national parks, at least in the West. Yosemite, for example, has the Ahwahnee. End of list. That's all I know. I know that other example. But there's the Lake Quinault Lodge, which I thoroughly enjoy as an experience. It's like this. Bam. Oh, it's so big. The photo's so big. Scoot myself over again. Eyes in the corner. It's a lovely lodge. It's got some it's like built turn of the century. Well, turn of the 20th century, not The last turn of the century was a quarter decade ago. A quarter century ago. I just turned to dust a little bit. 1900s. And so it's got like the old big great room with like a roaring fire, some like leather couches. It's got like a bar, like a dining room off to the side here, where President Roosevelt stayed. It's got some more modern accommodations on the right. It's great. You can just walk to your hiking path, but it suffers like Quinault Lodge. I like your accommodations. They're very old school. It kind of reminded me a lot of like older European accommodations of like the sink is in the room and not in the bathroom, and there's no TVs in it. There's no Wi-Fi here. Okay, there's Wi-Fi, but it's like very sketch. Very, very sketch indeed. So you couldn't, if you went here and you're like, oh, I'm going to do some Honkai Star Rail dailies while I wait for my friends to get ready. No, not an option. You got to be in the moment. You got to be present. You got to be in the now. But I love Peninsula as much as I adore you. And I've said this for decades. I've said this for years. The food is terrible. Just not good. It's good. Okay, it's good. It's like it's edible. You can enjoy it. It's fine. But it's not like fine. It's like you're not gonna like come to this lodge, come to this dining experience, and like this butternut squash ravioli is gonna blow your mind. No, it's serviceable. It's expensive. Serviceable. There's another place up the road, that Salmon House, that's way better. If you like salmon. If you don't like salmon, I'm not sure to tell you. I'm not sure to tell you. If you go to a place called Salmon House and you don't order the salmon, you're on your own, buddy. Today's Return to Nature challenge. Actually, like this trip and like some recent conversations I've had with friends has reminded me deeply that like I'm a very indoor fox boy right now. But in my past, I wasn't. I was very much more outdoorsy, going on like 8-10 mile hikes with elevation gains, did like a backpacking trip along the Oregon coast, on the beaches, like full scale. That was miserable. I've tried living the outdoor life to the best of my ability. To kayaking a lot as a kid, like nature hikes with family, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, my true nature is safe inside with my little blankie on my lap, my tea that should be drinkable by now, my lavender honey tea, my games, my dry manga. So I've gone outside. I have the gear, I have the experience, but I've reduced and decided over the years that like, I don't like 10-mile hikes. I don't like camping. Backpacking, right out. Roughing it, no. Even car camping, I'm just like, I would like indoor plumbing. I would like dryness. I would like a bed made for me and not on the ground. Thank you very much. Bug-free, please. Get that sand out of here. Go. I've learned my limits. I've learned what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy over the years through trial, error, and some more error. But Rainforest got 8 people to join, and so it's kind of like we did a 2-night stay because another advantage of going in the winter: buy one get one free night stay at the lodge. Makes the price bearable. But the rain is like stay inside. Like it's important. Like mild digression. This brought up deep pulled memories of graduate school. I was in a geology department. In grad school. Geologists, if any geologists out there, great people. I love geologists. If someone goes into like geology research, they're generally like, they fall into 2 camps of people. You have like the super like, not even extroverted, but just kind of like fun. You're the fun geologists who are just like, oh, let's go to this cool thing. I know, like, they find like the cool coffee shops or like the cool hiking trails. They'll show you a neat rock, or they like take out the rock camera and like, look at this, and they like smack open a geode in their hand. Or they're like, we're done using this ice core from Antarctica. Who wants to make margaritas? And like, who wants to make margaritas with 10,000-year-old ice? Great geologists. And you have like the actual serious, like not actual, they're all serious. But then you have geologists who are much more on the serious side, which is fine, which is good, it's important. But geologists, a fun bunch. I love geologists. except they're outdoorsy. They're so outdoorsy. So they influenced me for the outdoorsy life. And part of that outdoorsy life was I got convinced like to go backpacking. I think they saw it like a challenge. They probably saw it as a challenge. They're like, look at this nerd. Look at this nerd. I was the youngest by like 4 to 10 years in my department. So like, look at this naive, innocent looking dweeb. Let's take him outside, make him touch some grass. So I got convinced to do a spring break backpacking trip down the Oregon coast from Crescent City, Redwood City. I think it's Crescent. Redwood City's in California. Crescent City. Thanks, Google AI. It's a fantasy book series and a city in California. Thanks, bud. Oh, I don't want like a coffee shop near me named Crescent City. Maybe it wasn't the Oregon coast. It was the California coast. My internal story's in shambles. So it's Crescent City. No. Well, shit, it was Crescent City. Huh. My internal history narrative have just been shooketh. Yeah, because the equivalent for Oregon would be Astoria, and it wasn't Astoria. Huh. Anyway, they convinced me to go a backpacking trip. It was me and 2 others down the Oregon, California coast, apparently. Lies we tell ourselves. It was miserable. I borrowed the gear from friends. I got a sleeping bag. I got like the full backpack. I got like the water filtration, like the little pellets you put in the water to make sure like to sanitize it, like the whole thing. I just came loaded with like Pop-Tarts and like cup noodles. And that was it. That was my diet. Trail mix, Pop-Tarts, cup noodle, teriyaki beef jerky, some water, and some of those iodine pills. I'm like, I'm gonna go camping. Miserable. I was not prepared in the slightest. It rained on us the whole time. I was not ready for that. I was young, not waterproof. One of the nights it was just pouring rain. We had to set up camp on a wet beach, and like one of their tents collapsed and they couldn't fix it, so they had to jam into our 2-person tent. So there's 3 of us in this tent, and it's pouring rain. It was wet, it was cold, it was miserable. I hated it. Oh, I probably lost 2 friendships over that. We got 2 days in, maybe 3 days in, and we gave up. We just gave up. We're like, this is not fun. We're not enjoying this. This is a miserable experience. So, oh man, it was bad. It was a bad experience. I was in the tent. I was grumpy, and they're like, oh, can this Carl, the other person, couldn't Carl like come in the tent with us? I'm just like, no. I'm asleep. No, I get grumpy when I'm asleep. Like, you don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it. So oh my God, it was rough. It was bad. And you're carrying all your gear, and like the fire wasn't working because it was raining out. So you eat cold Pop-Tarts, it's rainy, humid tent, and you're all wet and you feel gross. Never again. So we gave up 2 days in. I think it's 3 days in. And like, what do you do though? Right? You're 2 days down the coast, 3 days down the coast. I think it was 2 days, 2 nights down. How do you get back? There's no cell service. We didn't have cell phones then. We didn't have smartphones. Oh, okay. I had like a Nokia. I had a Nokia Walkman. It was a green slide phone. Kind of colored my eyes. So we walked inland. We found a trailhead. We walked inland. We got to 101. We got to the freeway. We stood wet in the rain on a freeway on-ramp to hitchhike back up the 25 miles to the nearest city. Only time hitchhiking. We got a couple people stopped to offer to see what was needed help or anything. So it was me, another guy, and a woman. I think having our lady geologist with us helped a lot in terms of like, we're not going to murder you in your car. And the first one of the cars that stopped was like, we weren't on the on-ramp. We were like on there's like a interchange. We're on the interchange part of it. Some guy going the other way in a pickup truck stopped by to chat with us. And he's like, oh man, can't help you. I'm going south. It's like, you know what? So you have a tough time. and just handed us like a small baggie with a couple joints in them. And like, this was not that group. We were all like very straight laced. This group, the three of us were like, one's from the Midwest, one's from Virginia. We're all like, this was my lawful good era. And so like, what do we do? It was illegal at the time in all 3 states. We're like, oh, what do we do? We can't have this on us. We're trying to hitchhike. Hitchhiking also might be illegal. We're not sure. So we just threw it in the bushes and then waited for the next person. And then some nice lady picked us up. We jammed in the car. I think 2 of us shared the front seat, and then another one went in her crammed back seat that was full of a bunch of stuff with her, and had her kids sit on that person's lap for the car ride back. And then we went back. We got a hotel. And we just took hot showers and just like, we're not going to talk to each other. It was a long car ride back to Seattle. Could have used it at barter. That was like, nowadays, absolutely could have used it at barter. It was, oh man. What a formative experience in me learning I'm never going backpacking. I could love someone deeply. They could be the love of, well, probably not. They could be my life partner. They could be my closest friend. Like, let's go backpacking. And I'd be like, have fun with that. Tell me how it goes. Find some good friends to do that with. I'll be here. I would love to hear about it when you return, but not for this foxboy. She was a very nice lady. I think she was like a school teacher, if I recall, like a kindergarten teacher or something. Very kind. Gave us a ride. These 3 wet grad students, bedraggled. Okay, we didn't turn into enemies after that, but like it definitely was like, I got back and I'm just like, I'm done with everybody. I'm never going outside again. I think this would have been 2010? 2010, yeah. I think I went back and played like Dragon Age Origins or something. But that's a diversion. So I've learned my tolerances for outdoor camping, hiking, blah, blah, blah. Quinault Lodge is my speed. Give me a lovely lodge. It could be dated. Give me a lovely lodge, clean, nice, fireplace, warm, hot showers, parking. That's the sort of camping I'll do. There's so many bugs. Good pro tip about the rainforest in winter, not many bugs. I don't think I saw many bugs at all. I think I saw some mushrooms, a lot of moss, saw some trees, some sword ferns. No bugs though. Summer, don't know about summer though. I'm not gonna go there in summer, thank you very much. Too crowded. Potentially, I don't know. Too crowded, or you have to, one of the people we're with, I mentioned coming back in the summer and later in the year. There's other places to stay. La Push is nice. End of list. Sorry, Little Peninsula. I had to go to Little Peninsula for research several, like half a dozen times over like a 4-year period. Not a lot going on up there. Not a lot going on. But they're like, oh yeah, there's all these great camping sites we could go to and come back in the winter, like in the summer or fall to like go to the whole rainforest, which is shut down. I'm just like, have fun with that. Enjoy that camping trip. That sounds so good for you. So great for you. Not for me. I ain't doing that. That ain't happening. I'll come back to the lodge. I'll stay in a beach cabin. Give me a cabin, nearby restaurant, ability to make coffee in the morning, a place to be dry and read a book, perhaps. Have some space from the people I'm traveling with. Very important. So we drove out there. Me, 2 friends, carpooled out. Listened to a lot of Vocaloid music. Stopped for coffee. I got a bit car sick. I've come to realize that maybe I'm not meant to not carpool. Over the last 10 years, I found I get like car sick way easier. Even if I'm not reading or anything, I'm just like, am I getting old? Is what getting old means? Yeah, no. Just let me pack a bag. I pack the same thing for 3 days as I do for 3 weeks. So I just pack the same bag every time. I go, let's have some restaurants. Let's have like a small convenience store. Let's have a 7-Eleven where I can buy some onigiri, like, and some canned coffee. Like that's what I need. That's what I want. A bakery, perhaps. Now we're cooking. A boba tea shop, wonderful. I'll even settle for chain restaurants in a pinch. So we drove out there, got there about 4 or 5, and we unload. We had a nice, hung out in the Great Lodge area, had a lovely dinner in the dining room. We had a Wheel of Time watch party in somebody's room because I haven't seen season 2 yet, and season 3 is coming out, or it's out. I need to catch up. So I probably should be doing, but I've committed to watching it together, and you have to coordinate adults, which is its own trial. But the main day had brunch in the lodge, which was lovely. The brunch is way better than dinner in the lodge. I'm sorry. Also, brunch is just a better meal than dinner. I'm not a big meat eater. I don't eat much meat. I'm like 95% vegetarian. Dinners are okay. Brunch is where it's at. Brunch is the best meal of the day. I'll fight on that. Breakfast. I'll take breakfast as well. Breakfast or brunch. In fact, let's get rid of the lunch part of brunch and just have breakfast. Best meal of the day, hands down. No questions asked. No notes. I'm not taking comments. And then we did a 4-mile hike. We did a 4-mile hike for the rainforest. Part of the group split off halfway through for a shorter return back. I think they went to a sauna and then like the indoor pool, and they warmed up. It was very nice for them. And then I trudged everyone through the rainforest. They kept following me. It was raining. It was wet. There was puddles and mud, and they kept following. They followed me into a bog. Like the trail clearly said, this is 4 miles, and there's a bog we have to walk through. And they still followed me. I love starting cults. They're great. Walked on the beach front, and that's where I took my two photos. So I carried my actual. So these 2 photos. Photo 1, photo 2, were taken with my iPhone. I was carrying my actual camera with iPhones are actual cameras. My mirrorless camera with I brought 3 lenses. I brought like a macro lens to take pictures of stuff. I brought like a wide angle lens. I want to take some good photographs. I love taking photos when I travel. I forgot that I like taking photos when I travel alone. I don't like taking photos in a group. I always forget this. Or I commonly forget this. It's because to take a photo, I want a peaceful moment of just take my time to frame the photo, get really close up to take some dramatic photos of some moss or some mushrooms, or get the right angle on things, look at the camera, take 5-10 minute moment to take photos. And if you have 8 people who are waiting for you and they're cold and it's actively raining, I don't want to do that. Sucks the fun right out of it. So I just carried it with me all day. It was fine. And then the group split, and I'll get into this later and talk about travel planning with adults. That's where this is leading to. To go to the coast, they went to somewhere along the coast. Half of us stayed back for government mandatory nap time. I'm not big on napping as a general rule, but man, after a 4-mile hike and you're just you're warm again, you're dry, and it's just filtered overcast lights coming through some sheer curtains, and you're on your bed, and you're just kind of just drift off a little bit, and you have a little nap. You just have a little nap. And then went to the great room. We went to another restaurant, watched more Wheel of Time. And it was a 20-minute nap. This was no afternoon shattering nap situation. And the next day we had brunch at another place. We all drove home. It was lovely. It was a lovely time. On the second day, it cleared a bit. Okay, it was raining. Again. Rainforest, right? It's in the name. But it snowed because it was still cold because it's winter. So we got some snow on. This was from the lodge, looking across the lake. Here's lake. Myself aside here. Here's the lake. Ta-da, lake. And so we got some rain on the rainforest across the way. Rainforest is a lot of evergreens, a lot of spruce, cedar, Sitka spruce sort of things. We don't get redwoods up in this area. Redwoods is farther down the coast to California. But we got some snow up there, which is super cool. I think it adds an amazing contrast to the bright, verdant greenery of the rainforest. And then from the other place, oh, it's so much bigger. So I use my thumbnail. It's too big. Shrink that down, put it above my head here. Nice. So I got lovely, once the clouds cleared, you realize these are big, there's mountains nearby. But when it's overcast, oh, it's just a lake, it's just fine. Oh, no, that's full of mountains. But this was kind of a cool view at the end there. It's a little bit of blue sky peeking through for the first time. It's like 16 feet of rain annually in this area. It's a rainforest, man. What can I say? What more can I say? I can't just drink my tea before it gets too cold. That was the rainforest trip. Very, very nice. I'm glad people can make it out. I'm glad I went. I did cut into two of my streaming times of Fridays and Sundays. That's fine. I made me realize and think about, like, I don't think I have any other trips planned for this year yet. I'm planning one for Japan in the fall. That might be it. Maybe going to Portland? I think I'm going to Portland. Mostly day activities. At some point, I need to, like, check my PTO balance for work. It's probably fine. It's probably fine, right? It's probably fine. Going to PTO debt a little bit. There's a little PTO debt between employer and employee. Here we go. Check that off my list. Yeah, look at my notes I'm taking. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful notes. So, here's talking about the real parts of it. How do you get a trip together of 9 people, of adults? We've done a couple of these trips now. It's a very cool combination of these groups. And it's trips in my past, travel in my past. Solo travel. And I'm seeing a couple of frameworks to do this. And what framework you adopt works best for you and your friend group. But my favorite framework I'm seeing is you, the person who wants to do this travel. You find a place. You find something you want to do, you're excited to do, and you kind of say, like, I want to go to the rainforest in winter. I'm going to go by myself, but I'd absolutely love it if people join me. And that, for me, has been one of the more successful ways to get people going, versus like, oh, we need to get, like, I want to get eight people together to do this trip. If we don't get 8, the trip is off. Who wants to come? And try to guilt people into it. Like, that's a bad way to go. Saying, I want to do this thing. I would love people to join me. Or you could say, like, I want to go, like, get like 1 person to buy in or 2 people to buy in. But then for everybody else, you just say, hey, love if you come. Here's what we're doing. Kind of gather the interest. I plan like 6 to 12 months out. That's how I operate on some of these things. And you get it together. I use polls of like, oh, here are the potential dates. And the hack here. If you're the one organizing a trip, if you're actually organizing any event, and you're putting forth options for people, just somehow, all those options work for you. Isn't that weird how that turns out? It's like, oh wow, none of these options are things I dislike. Oh wow. None of these options say camping. None of these options are things I already have planned. Send out a poll, lock in a date, check like the majority of people or the right combination of people you like, or only the people you like. Whichever one suits your boat, floats your boat. Pick a weekend and you're like, okay, this is going to be March 1st. We're going to the rainforest, everybody. And then here's where the strategy diverges. There's couple options here. If you have to fly somewhere, kind of applies the same. And I've seen it go either way. The one method I don't like, and I'm learning I really don't like this, if possible, and this could be like single day events, like tickets to like a play or something, or like a Renaissance fair, for example. One person buys all the tickets and then tries to like get reimbursed and like attribute it, be like, okay, this ticket's for this person, this ticket's for this person needs to pay me. Oh, I only bought 8 tickets, but we have a 9th person who's interested. Hopefully we can sit together in the same block. But like, that is so stressful. It's so stressful to do it that way. Sometimes you have to do it. Like, let's say you're organizing a karaoke event, hypothetically, and you only have a certain number of slots, and then you have to get the people to fill those slots, and you have to get the reimbursements and all that. Like, it's huge. It's a pain. It's a pain. For travel, if you don't have that, I like doing, I think it's a great way to do. It's like, I'm going to go here are the dates. I'm staying at this place, hypothetically. I'm staying at this lodge for these dates. Absolutely. Like, maybe if you have one person you really, really trust and travel with, book with them. Otherwise, just be like, I'm traveling here. Here's the flight I picked. Here's the hotel I'm staying at. I would love people to stay similar locations or the same flight, but like not try to coordinate that at all. at least for your side, and just be like, here's what I'm doing, tell everybody else, so they can coordinate to you. It's so much less stressful. Absolutely less stressful. You can even say, hey, if it's driving distance, like I would love to carpool. I'm leaving from this city or this neighborhood. Anyone want to carpool? People might say yes. They might offer to pick you up. You might offer to pick them up. But you keep it low key. You keep it like minimize that stress as much as you can, because like this is supposed to be fun. These things are supposed to be fun things to do with your friends. They're not supposed to be like huge stresses that gnaws holes in the pit lining of your stomach and cause you have ulcers and like headaches and migraines and force you to take more naps. No. And then like where the challenge is, like I find restaurant reservations are like often where things start breaking down or you need to get that head count. But in most cases you can do that kind of like week before, so you get like a better idea of like who's actually committed to going. Because otherwise, like if I plan 6 months out and I'm like, here's my lodging, here's my flights, I'm gonna be in Tokyo in November for here to here, I'll be staying in Shinjuku, hypothetically. And your friend could be like, oh man, I'm going to Japan at the same time, we should meet up for a couple days. Or they could say, I'm not going to Japan at the same time, I secretly hate you, and you cry a little bit. And it's fine, it's fine. You know they don't mean it, but they probably do mean it. But when you get closer, because you're like, you know they're locked in, they got the bookings, you're not responsible for the booking. They might cancel, they might join late. We had people drop in for this Rainforest trip. We had like 3 or 4 people who were initially all in, but then who couldn't make it eventually, like due to financial or timing reasons. We had some people who joined later because they found out about it later. But like everyone's responsible for their lodging. Everyone's responsible for their own things. So you don't have to stress about it. You're just like, hey, whoever shows up, shows up. Like we got there, we were in the rainforest and someone asked like, how many people are coming? I'm like, I don't know, man. I just shrugged at them like, people show up, they show up. I said, be here at, 10 a.m. for breakfast. And if they're not here, I'm not gonna wait for them. Let's get seated for breakfast. If you sleep in and you miss that call, that's not on me, man. I'm not gonna come hunting you down. You're a responsible adult. And if you're not a responsible adult and you make a big stink about it, a big scene about it, I just don't want to travel with you in the future. Kind of self-filtering that out. So that's the best way. And you'd be like, okay, who could make this in a reservation? Or you just like get the final count, make reservations for like 10 people. And if someone doesn't show up, it's fine. The only time this was a problem, not a problem, a concern. Going to Las Vegas was a concern because you had like apparently some of those reservations you got to pounce on like 6 months in advance. There's a brief window and you have to get it. It falls down if you want to sit all together going to like a musical together or a concert together. That's where kind of like it does pay off to have one person buy bulk sets of tickets. But that you need like, even then you could be like, hey, I'm in seat J12 for this Ado concert. Who wants to sit next to me? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe they want to go and they don't want to sit next to you. If you're not coordinating, it's fine. It's fine. They just secretly hate you. So I've learned, and I'm learning and getting better and improving every trip on how to make it as stress-free as possible. How to reduce that stress to make it just fun. And so the method of picking destination, like I really want to do this thing. Here's where I'm going. Anyone wants to join? Here's like a Discord thread. Here's the timing. Feel free to join me. Feel free to hop on. If not, you know what? I'm gonna have fun anyway. Those are my tips for assembling adults together for trips. Of course, if you want to do it and no one signs up and no one's interested, I can't help you there. I have somehow not had that problem when I deeply expected to have that problem. I think last year, one of the events I did put together last year, like 20 people showed up. It was to go to I talked about it previously on stream. It was to go to a nighttime corn maze, which by the way, I need to get that on the calendar soon. And I'm like, it's 7 months out, let's plan this. I was gonna go by myself. I'm like, I love corn mazes. I love getting lost. I love getting like a little bit lost. Getting a little bit lost is kind of fun. At night in pitch blackness in a corn maze, oh, absolutely. Let's get lost in there. I expected no one to show up. 19 people showed up. I'm still shocked. To this day, I'm still shocked. But if no one shows up, that can happen. That's why you gauge interest before you commit to the plan, so that like when you make the plan, you already have enough people bought in, so you feel better about yourself. And people aren't like, I don't like Fox Boys, I'm not coming on this trip, and you can sob a little bit to yourself. And you're sob. And you go salve your wounds by going buying some femboy clothing online. You're like, this is gonna make me feel better. And invariably it does, and everything works out great. So that's my current Rainforest trip, which is very different, a very different plan. It's kind of loosey-goosey. Come on, it's a Rainforest. To my Japan trip, which I'm currently I've been procrastinating planning this trip to Japan for 3 months now. I started my planning documents in December. I stalled out. January, I had some health scares that still get resolved, but it's fine. Stalled out. A couple weeks ago, I'm like, I tucked in a couple days ago and started a spreadsheet. Then I stalled out. Every day I've been writing it in my daily planner. Every day it just says Japan trip. And I keep like crossing it out with an arrow to the next day. I did it today. I want to say I'll do it this weekend, but that would be a lie. And I don't want to lie to anyone here. I'll do it this weekend. No, I'm not going to do it this weekend. Who am I kidding? There's something else I had to constantly procrastinate. Oh, planning what I was going to talk about today. I procrastinated that for a couple weeks. I'm here though. We're talking. I got a list. Much easier to make a list for this than it is to make a list for a Japan trip. I just need to figure out where I want to go. Part of this Japan trip was like, there's a really cool bike ride you could do, like an all-day bike ride across a bunch of bridges on the inland sea of Japan that looks super cool. And I'm like, do I just think it's cool in theory, or is this a backpacking trip situation where I'm going to get there and it's going to be miserable? I also still have a deep fear of bicycles after having a really bad accident in college. But it's Japan. It's safe. It is outdoorsy, but you can get an e-bike. You can get an electric bike. A little motor pushes you through. It's calling my deep outdoorsy roots. I think part of it, I grew up in a bike, like, it sounds weird to say, I grew, like, my dad and grandfather both owned independent bike shops. So I grew up in a bike shop, on the floor of a bike shop, essentially. So bicycles are like, feel kind of like deeply ingrained in my like core, like deep core identity, or one facet of it. And so the idea of doing a bike trip in Japan, like in the fall with the oceans and all the bridges, you forward your luggage, it sounds great, but I'm just like, am I idolizing this? Or idealizing? I mean, oh, this would be solo. This Japan trip is 100% solo. I think, while I would like to travel and meet up with people, I don't think I'm at the stage of my life where I'm like, I want to travel for 2 weeks in Japan with somebody. Now, meeting up for an afternoon at a dessert cafe or maid cafe, 100% would do. I would 100% hands down do that with anybody I know. Anybody I'm friends with. There's some people that 100% would not do that with who I know. But 2 weeks, see, this is what gets into it. I realized this last year when I planned a trip to Japan. It's been a year since I went to Japan. Gasp. I'm falling off the wagon. I spent 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, however long those relationships, a while. It was a while. 2009, 2010, 2000. 13 years. 13 years back-to-back relationships. So all my trips for that time was in that form of planning. And this is why, like, I've recently realized this for planning trips, where every decision, you know what? I'd be more than happy to have those two geology colleagues show up in Japan. They're great people. They're nice people. I like them a lot. I'm not backpacking with them ever again. One's from the Midwest and is from Minnesota, St. Paul. Whatever that town in Minnesota is. Super nice person as a result. I think that's just how Minnesota churns people out. Having planned trips with a partner for 13 years is very different than traveling on your own. with a partner, like every decision, where you stay, what you want to do, where you're going to go, when you're going to go, how long to stay places, how you're going to travel. It's all negotiations, all a compromise. And I was making all the decisions for these trips. I was the trip planner for 13 years and had to come up with all of the all the considerations and preferences and responsibility for how it turned out, and the anxiety around that and the stress and blah, 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 blah. So I do it on my own. I'm just like, oh, I can just book things I like or book things that I might not like. I did a couple things. I'm like, you know what? I did some things that I'm like, I might like this. I might hate it, but you know what? I'll find out. That's where I found out I don't like traditional Japanese inns. I'm sorry, everybody. I'll keep my weeb card. Thank you very much. I like modern accommodations. I know my limits. Gotta get that out there real quick. And so booking for myself, I'm just like, oh, I just like need to consider my preferences. Like, this is great. This is a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable. I had to make all the decisions anyway still. Like, that's not a change. I was doing that anyway. Do it for myself. It's great. It's lovely. And if someone wants to meet up while in Japan, fantastic. If not, wonderful. Maybe one day I'll try a like longer international trip with someone who actually involves all the more coordination. But I really like the travel methods. Like, we're all going to this place together. We're going to do these. Here's our touch point events. Otherwise, you're on your own. Maybe we'll do stuff together, but it's not required. That's it. That's the feeling. At the end of my trip to the Rainforest, I'm reflecting on the Rainforest, reflecting on... I didn't write that down. I didn't write that in my notes. I'm supposed to write it in my notes. Reflecting on previous trips. I realized what it was. I realized what made them fun. Traveling with 6 people, 7 people, 8 people. And all staying like in the same hotel or like the same close hotels. It gives the... It lets us live the millennial dream of being neighbors. And it sounds silly. It might sound silly, but I think that is like a deep yearning that I've seen across many people, many times in my life, of like, people didn't want romantic partnerships. They didn't want like big houses. People don't want all the things. Like, they just want to be neighbors with their friends. People joke about, like, I've heard about people joking about communes for a decade now. And I've had people go down the routes of seriousness and not seriousness, looking into different commune structures to the point of like specking out how much it would cost to buy land in Bellingham, Washington, build some like tiny apartments, and like what would that cost? What would the permitting look like? How sort of buying what you need, what type of legal structure? The people just kind of jokingly be like, oh, it's all like someone can buy an apartment complex, we can all rent from them. But I realized, like, at least for me, and I think for many people, they don't want a commune. I don't want a commune. Like, I'm sorry, everybody. I may love you as friends. You may be wonderful, wonderful people, but I want my own place. But with traveling with people and staying in especially staying in the same hotel, it lets us live that fantasy of being neighbors, of living walking distance to each other, about being close. It lets you be like, oh, I'm going to like, oh, at like 8 p.m., we're all going to meet at Jake's room to go watch some Wheel of Time for a couple hours. And then people show up on time, people show up late, they filter in, they leave early, and it's like, it's no big deal. It's not like someone showing up late or someone leaving is like a 30-minute drive. There's no commute, there's no finding parking, there's no struggling with like getting into buildings or out of buildings. There's no like, it's so much more casual of just being like, oh, he's gonna show up, like, oh, let's meet around 8-ish to get dinner. Like, meet at Sanish's room, and everyone can just come to my room, knock on the door, we let them in, we hang out, and then we go. And it's like, it's the freshman year college dorm experience. It's a college dorm experience. It's like living in a small college town experience. It's when people say like they loved college and like they wish they could go back. One of the big facets was being walkable neighbors living in a walkable community. And so traveling together with a group of people, hits that deep, deep gap, that deep hole. And I feel like the collective hearts of millennials across the nation. It's that like, when you watch sitcoms of like the 90s, 2000s, if you watch sitcoms earlier on, part of the fantasy that you don't think about, but it works like, because everyone is a neighbor. They're all in the same like little, cul-de-sac in the suburbs. They're in apartments across from each other in like New York. They live like one building over in like, I guess Fraser's in Seattle. And that's, I think, what everyone kind of wants a little bit. And I know I want it, but like trying to get people to live actually next door, super hard. It's super hard if you also want to live in a city. Maybe if everyone like goes in and buys like homes and new development together in like suburbia, but like nobody wants that. Nobody wants to live in suburbia. I'm sorry. If you want to live in suburbia, good for you. I don't think you mean it. I think people want to live in cities or the rural areas, I guess. Suburbs are terrible. I'm so sorry. And also like different friends are at different life stages. So like not everyone's like primed to like go buy a condo or go buy a townhouse or all rent from the same building because there's different rents or different jobs or commutes, blah, blah, blah. It's all decentralized. It's so very hard. But traveling fills that hole, that yearning for neighbors. Have your Mr. Rogers there to greet you and be kind. Someone who's like, oh, let's have a potluck. And like, oh, I'm making a big dinner if anyone wants to come over. Or like, are we going to try this restaurant? Let's just walk over. Let's meet up for coffee real quick. That's what we all want. I'm going to speak that for everybody, for every millennial out there. As an elder millennial, I'll take that champion that cause. We just want to be neighbors, man. We just want to be walkable neighbors. And that's what I realized during this trip, when we're all staying in the same lodge together. When I went, similar group in Las Vegas, it wasn't quite the same because like some of us were up the strip, some were down the strip, so it wasn't like fully walkable. So walkable neighbors, and that's part of what like even grad school had that. Everyone's kind of walkable to campus, and that kind of gives you a unifying location. I think it's what kind of you get a tiny bit if you're friends. I know it's gonna be controversial. Friends with coworkers, where you have a common location you all coexist in or nearby of like your office building. So you can do like, oh, let's grab a coffee. Let's go for a walk around the park. Let's go meet up at this nearby game shop to play board games after work. Because we're already together. We're already nearby each other. But man, it's hard to recreate. Because like, some people are extroverts, some people are super friendly, some people, I'm going to say it, I mean this in a very non-derogatory way, some people are normies, and so making friends with their neighbors, perfectly reasonable. You're like, oh, neighbor, I noticed you had skis on, or packing skis. I too love skiing, now we're ski buddies. Or wow, you have that mountain bike, you must love mountain biking. Or you have a dog, I have a dog. Let's be friends and talk about nothing but our dogs forever. Hard out there for weebs. It's tough. We don't have enough there's not enough social signaling or common places to meet up. We don't have gachapons to congregate around. We don't have manga stores to hang out at. And even if we did, none of us would hang out at them. We'd all be at home. Wear merch out in the open. I've been trying to do that more and more. I used to not do it because I was deeply afraid of not afraid. Deep social anxiety. Gotten over it. Getting better at it. Even my merch doesn't fit very well. I put a bunch of 8 years ago. I took the big step and put a bunch of anime stickers on my car. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start signaling that I'm a weeb. That's the way to go. Yeah. Third spaces also give this that neighborly feel, but more third spaces, more weeb third spaces. Some people have blankets of their Oshis, who may or may not be dead. We don't know what happens when you graduate. Oh yeah, you don't know your neighbors. I live in an apartment building. I lived for 18 months. I don't know my neighbors. I lived in a townhouse in a suburban area. I didn't know my neighbors very well. To be fair, one of them had a Trump bumper sticker on their truck, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to be friends with this neighbor. A house I owned for 4 years, didn't know any of the neighbors. I'm not a get to know my neighbors sort of foxboy, which is a deep contrast to my parents, who live in a small town of 3,000 people and talk to their neighbors all the time. They know all their neighbors and all their neighbors' backstories. And it's flabbergasting. It's absolutely flabbergasting to see like extroverts in their native habitat talking to neighbors like randomly. They have neighbors just come to the door and knock on their door to talk. Ugh. Oh, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I need like at least an hour mental preparation in like minimum to talk to people in person. Could you imagine someone just coming up to your door randomly to talk? Ugh. Don't like that. Don't like that. Then again, maybe if my neighbors were my friends, it'd be different. They'd come to the door, see me, nothing but like scruffy bedhead, day-old pajamas on, some anime playing or some game paused on my computer. It'd be kind of funny. Admittedly, it'd be kind of funny. My deep fear of being neighbors, and is someone see me out running. I don't want to be perceived when I'm running. And so that's always a deep concern, is like, if I live near a friend, what if I was like just running on my normal route and like they saw me on their way to like work or out doing something? My best hope is they would just politely ignore it and pretend they did not see me and never mention it. That'd be ideal. One could hope for good friends like that, who pointedly ignore you in the best ways. Japan planning. Check. That was a great this is a great transition, self. Let me pat myself on the back. Pat. So that's trip planning, taking trips, traveling, being neighbors, and that transition just lovely. Is about a month and a half ago, after I knew I was going to do this for a while, I started in earnest the house hunting process. I've gone from like renting to owning a house to renting to owning a house to renting to I've only owned 2 houses. So now I'm out of my renting phase. I'm entering back into my buying someplace to live phase. My past 2 houses I bought, house and townhouse, was with a partner. Different partners. Both locations. One house was left in a divorce, and one house was sold amicably and split down the middle. But this is the first time I'm house shopping, just me. Previous 2 houses I purchased were very much a compromise of what I wanted, what the other partner wanted, both in location, style, price, interiors, blah, 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 blah. Much like traveling. Making life decisions with a partner, it's about compromise. Sometimes, often, I found. And I'm enjoying not having to do that. I sometimes wish I did have a partner for smaller decisions like what to eat for food and grocery shopping, but not for big decisions. It's a lot easier in some ways on my own. So I started the house buying process, and I started it this time. And the reason I delayed, I didn't do it right away, because I wanted to take a year or so to ask myself the question: where are my friends? The current friend group I have was really nascent at the time. I think we were still very much in the online friend stage. Like, are you real people who I want to spend real time with? But we have since evolved and moved on, and some people have leveled up. So they've gone past the 4 hard events to the 5 hard events. Learn personal details, deep lore, backstories, dark secrets, etc., etc. But I can ask where they live, what sort of things do we do together. One of my other very close friends moved recently, so that kind of helped also. So I'm starting this house search. I've started this house search with 2 questions. I asked myself 2 big questions. 1, what can I actually afford? Which caused me to cry a little bit on the inside. 2, where are my friends? Because I want to live near to my friends. To some definition of nearby, right? I want to, because right now all my friends are best case half hour away. But they're all half hour away. It's kind of equitable that way in some ways. So I've been searching in the regions around my two friend centroids, and viewing places. So I've done 3 sets of 3, I think, for house viewing so far. And I'm going into this. I'm like preparing for battle. I'm like getting emotionally sturdy, emotionally ready, because last time I bought a townhouse was 2022, 21. Mortgage rates were 3%. It was an absolute bloodbath. This was like, you are fighting tooth and nail to get a house in this situation. Inventory was limited. There's no new construction. People were upgrading. People were buying. It was a massacre. A 4-month massacre. And I was in the middle of that bloodbath, throwing elbows, throwing punches, kicking people, slashing tires so they can't get to viewings, telling people, like, firing off fake gunshots to drive them away from neighborhoods. You know how it is. House buying is a brutal business. But I feel like this, I've lived through a lot of millennial experiences. I reflected recently about like how many iconic millennial experiences that I lived through via own reflection and TikTok being like, aren't you nostalgic for this time period? I'm like, some ways, yes, but some ways, no. This was one of those historic experiences of 3% interest rates, absolute bloodbath, that I bought that house. So we put offers in to buy 10 houses. There was 10 houses. I put money on the line. I'm like, I will buy this house 10 times. Each time, for various reasons, we did not get the house. And it was the 10th one that landed it. So I got very blasé about house offers. All that to say is I am preparing to hopefully buy a condo. I put an offer in to buy a condo tomorrow. I'm going to sleep on it, maybe visit again tomorrow. That's closer to my friends, to be nearby. Not closest. I was looking at one that was like a block, like 1 block from one of my friends. I'm like, that'd be nice. But I'm like, is that too close? Very much in the like pointedly ignore each other if we see each other taking out the trash sort of situation. And it put me far away from other friend groups. But the current place I found is like 15 minutes from my friends. Like, that's reasonable. There's direct bus lines. And it's a lovely location. It's just nice. It's nice. It's a bit smaller, downsized a little bit. The office doesn't share walls except for the floor, so no one has to hear me streaming, which is a plus. Plus for them. But it's house buying. It's making a bunch of decisions and then trying to convince yourself if the compromises are worth it. And so you got to set up a framework about what's important to you. What do you actually matters? What is like, and what I fight against is what is something I actually enjoy and like versus what is like a story I tell myself of a person who I'm not. And that's my current place. I'm currently in a downtown area nearby to a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of shopping, a bunch of stores, a bunch of nightlife. And I'm like looking at myself for the last year and a half. And I'm asking the question, did I utilize any of this at all? Was any of this of importance to me? Was it worth the price I'm paying for my $190 a month parking spot to be here? And I'm like, not really. Kind of sad to say, but not really. There's a version of me in my head that I thought I might be. And so I moved here and I'm like, let's try it out. Am I that person? I am not that person. It's like what I used that I cared about, being a 5-minute walk to a grocery store, 10 out of 10. We'll do it again. Easy transit to other places, pretty nice, 8 out of 10. Several nearby coffee shops, 10 out of 10. I like a good nearby coffee shop. I do utilize those. I don't like sit in them. I always tell myself like, oh, I'm gonna get my laptop and I'm gonna go into this coffee shop, this cool coffee shop. I'm gonna order coffee. I'm gonna sit there with my laptop and look so mysterious and cool and work on something. And then someone's gonna come up and ask me what I'm doing. We're gonna have a great conversation. I'll make a new friend. But I'm like, has that ever happened in my life? No, it hasn't. Probably because I don't put any social affordances like anime stickers on my laptop or like anything like that. I started doing it on my camera bag. I put a bunch of anime pins on my camera bag as social affordances, which if you're not aware, social affordance is like a little like a signal, a visual signal on your persons to act as conversation starters for people. It could be something like wearing a band t-shirt. It could be something like having a dog going for a walk. It could be like an anime pin on your shirt. It could just be like a cute outfit or like a head, like a new hairstyle or cool shoes or something to like people to walk up and say, best viewers on the street. Walk up and say, oh, I really love your shoes. And like start a conversation and have that like that band. open up those conversation starters. And it's like laptop stickers. If you're working in coffee shops is one of those. Though I think I got traumatized because I work in tech, and like putting tech laptop stickers on your work laptop was all the trend. And so I heard him call them corporate tech face tattoos. And I never got out of my head. Live rent free. And even then, I put a bunch of anime stickers on my work laptop. Not a goddamn person asked me my cute ass Jumino Stardew Valley sticker. Or my Kill la Kill sticker. Oh, it wasn't a Kill la Kill sticker. That'd be very dangerous. My Orange High School Host Club sticker on my laptop. No one asked me about that. I'm just cold and unapproachable. Which is actually kind of probably true. Hard to believe, I know. But my social anxiety, which has gotten better. It's gotten better over the years. I've gotten better. Very off-putting. So anyway, coffee shops, yes. Grocery stores, yes. A place to run and walk, yes. I do enjoy those. Trendy bars, no. Fancy restaurants, in fact, I dislike trendy restaurants. If I'm eating out my own, I want to be near a goddamn taco truck, which I'm not near right now. Thank you very much. Bah. Give me a cheap place. Give me a taco truck or a Mexican family restaurant. That's what my heart wants. That's what I want to eat when I go out. I am near a cheap Indian restaurant, which is a plus. Those are my two takeout options I love near and dear to my little foxy heart. Give me a samosa chaat or like a chorizo burrito. Oh, give me a breakfast burrito. That's what I want. For under $10 ideally, he said, hopefully into the void, knowing the burritos are not $10 anymore. However, the place I looked at today, I didn't check for taco trucks. Shit, I didn't check for taco trucks. Where's this place? Oh, that's close enough. Okay, there's a tamale place nearby. It's a bit of a walk, but worth it. There's also a taco bar. Is there a taco truck nearby? Okay, I gotta check for myself real quick. Okay, there's one near. Oh, how far is that? Directions. There's one I've been to in the past. It's funny because I'm kind of returning to an area I visited a lot when in graduate school. 13-minute walk for a taco truck. Hell yeah, I'd walk 13 minutes for a taco truck. Rain or shine. Well, light rain, some shine. Too hot, I'm not going for a walk. I'm staying inside. So that's what matters. So like identifying what matters to you when you're looking at housing is super important. Identifying how much you're willing to spend, very important. Not how much you can afford. Because sometimes what you can afford isn't what you should spend. Always ask those two questions separately. Of ideally, how much money do you want to spend all up on more? This applies to rent as well. It's also applies to apartments. On mortgage, HOA if there is one, parking fees, associated fees, water, sewer, gas, and garbage, internet, and like get that number, not just like, God, so many of these like websites are like, oh, you can get this place. The mortgage is only $2,400 a month. I'm like, that's wonderful. Like their HOA is $1,300 a month, and you're like, what? What? $1,300 a month? And then you die inside and you give up and you just curl up on the ground and you're like, I'll never be able to afford anything. I ate too much avocado toast. What have I done? I should have done it. So I'm asking how much you're willing to pay and if you can afford that. Two very important questions. And then as you then start viewing places, you look at places. I guess I'm talking about the home buying process now. Very exciting stuff. And then if what's important, this applies to any decision-making process really. And your priorities, like some things for me, very high priority. I want 2 bedrooms. I'm greedy. I want 2 whole bedrooms for my little foxy self. One for my bed, hence the name bedroom, and one as my office. And I want to be an office/streaming room. Mostly because I want to be able to actually set up the background for my webcam to be like more anime heavy for work calls. And maybe for like something like, I think I probably need some of like the what are called, like the eggshell soundproofing stuff for streaming. I want that. I want a view. Oh, this is where like my priorities start costing me a lot of money. I don't want to have to do any updates or very minimal updates. I want a view. I want to be able to see. Okay. I want to be able to see the sky. Like, I don't want my window looking just directly into like a neighbor. I want to be able to see the sky, and I want to be able to see either sunrises or sunsets. And ideally, some nature. I want to be near a place I can go for runs and walks. I want to be walkable to places. I want to use my car minimally. I want a big enough kitchen, but it doesn't be too big. I want a place with my coffee pot. I have a large sectional couch, which I thought was normal size. It's it's a corner couch. It's 8.5 by 8.5, which in retrospect is very large. It's very large. And you're trying to look at some of these places, you're like, this can't fit in here. I looked at a townhouse that was almost perfect. It was almost perfect. It had everything I wanted. My couch couldn't fit in the living room. The living room was 8.5, like the living room was 9 feet wide. You had to walk through it. I'm just like dying on the inside. Just dying on the inside. But I found a place. I'm very excited about it. I'm gonna put an offer in tomorrow probably, and then I'll probably get outbid by $200,000, and I'll cry, and I'll sob, and my friends will comfort me, and we'll watch Wheel of Time, or they won't comfort me. I don't know. They probably will, but they might not. They might just be like, "Meh, you made this." My only hope is like it's a really bad weather this weekend, and I'm hoping that drives everyone away, and no one wants to buy the house, and I can get it for the list price. Then my mind starts turning the wheels of like all the logistics about moving and breaking a lease. I'm just like, don't think about that, Sanish. Don't think about that. Think about the after, like how great it would be afterwards, and not how much it costs. The down payment. I have to write a giant ass. I've done several times already. We have to like write a check for a down payment, and you're just like, this background music got slightly funky all of a sudden. Like, this is the biggest check I've written in my entire life. And I've done it several times now, and it spooks me deeply every single time. But house buying, it can be fun. It can be stressful. It should spur a lot of introspection about what actually matters. And what matters, the lifestyle you have, the lifestyle you want. I saw one place today, for example, that out of my budget, it was like $1,000 a month out of my budget. But it was like 1,400 square feet. It was giant. It was giant. 2 full bedrooms. It was like, it reminded me of like a 90s suburban home. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I don't need all this space. I'm like, oh, but what if I got into like crafting, right? What if I started crafting and I wanted to get like a sewing machine and like a table and make my own cosplays? And I'm like, I've been on God's green earth for almost 40 years and I've not done that yet. Why should I buy a house, buy something just in case I might want to do that? And if I do that, I can just find and make space and prioritize things. It's always good to reevaluate these things and not just like a bunch of what ifs. And work with the actual data you have on hand, what you like and what you do, not the idealized version of yourself. Now you could be looking to make a change. I had a friend who picked a location because it was near a park they could walk around, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's worthwhile if you commit to it. But I know I have this habit of being like, here's my idealized self, and like, I don't follow through, which is a perfect segue to things I've not followed through on. Hobbies. Look at that check. Oh, I'm checking all these things on my list. I am so good at myself. This week, I had the final session of a 1.5-year Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Not 1.5 years, 23 months. We started in April of 2023. That was a while ago. So this was a D&D campaign that spurred out of a large local Discord server that had since imploded and shattered to a million fragments of drama and gossip and hearsay and hurt feelings and blocks and oh man, it was bad. It was a whole thing. For a brief moment though, it existed, and I carved out with my knife in hand a small anime space on the server for people where the people who owned it and ran it at the time didn't like anime and didn't understand it at all. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna have an anime space to talk about Genshin Impact. And by gods, I made it. Tooth and nail, tooth and claw, and fang. It was red and tooth and claw, so we got that space. But in that Discord, someone started a D&D campaign. Like, I'm a first-time DM. I would love to do a campaign. Like, sure, I'll join. I thought when I signed up for this every Thursday D&D campaign, that'd be like 10 sessions. I thought it'd be like a 2-month endeavor, like in and out real quick, no problem. They had a pre-built campaign. They had the Mines of Phandalin. Mines of Phandalin. What the hell is that campaign called? Phandalin. Lost Mines of Phandalin. Lost Mines of Phandalin. It's like the intro D&D campaign. Like, here's your first time D&D, baby's first D&D campaign. Here's the module for new DMs, etc., etc. And I thought it'd be 10 sessions, pretty easy. But then, like, it kept going. There was a break here. There was some had to be out for a couple months. There was a whole homebrew side campaign that happened embedded in there. There was like a 3-month-long election cycle that we had where we just really wanted to get elected to be the town mayor to spite regulate a wizard shop owner who we hated and to burn down the mayor's house we didn't like. But it lasted like 40 more sessions, like a year longer than I expected. So it was an effort and commitment. I stuck with it because abandoning campaigns feels kind of shitty for everybody. And it was mostly fun. But they're not here. They're not here right now, are they? They should be here right now. If they are, I'm so sorry. But about halfway through, I was ready to be done. It kept going. So it was an exercise and commitment. I think a deep part of it, if I'm being honest, I'm tired of 5th edition. I'm tired of D&D 5th edition. I'm just over it. I'm done. It's not how I want to play role-playing games. I'm sorry, D&D 5th edition. You're a great intro. You have a lot of exposure, a lot of podcasts, Critical Role, Adventure Zone, all of them good exposure. Wonderful. D&D movie turned out better than I could have hoped. I'm done. I'm tired of the system. I'm here for goofs and hijinks, and you're not built for it. So that session ended on Thursday. We had our final session. Our goblin friend died. He was cut in half, bisected. It was awful. We had a grave, a little memorial service for him. Had me reflect on hobbies. And that's why we're here today. This is about me reflecting about myself, my favorite topic. What hobbies I care about. Where do I want to spend my time? And what hobbies have I should probably let go and accept that I'm letting go. Especially the prospect of maybe downsizing to a 700 square foot, 650, 750, something like that square foot condo. So I have one D&D ongoing campaign with a group of close friends who I knew in real life. Great times, great goofs. We are not going to do D&D after this current campaign. I think we're running Curse of Strahd right now. Next campaign will not be D&D. We're not about combat. We're not about crunchy rolls. We're not about like hard numbers. We're here to goof around, start shenanigans, start small business smelling Go-Gurt. We're here to talk our way into places we shouldn't go, seduce people we shouldn't seduce, make up backstories. So we're going to move off the D&D 5th edition after that. But we're going to keep playing. Great people. Love them. I'll keep going with them forever. Rotate out who's DM. Keep that hobby. That hobby's checked. It's Monday nights. No, Tuesday nights. Done. I have an online gaming group. We meet every Monday. Right now we did Stardew. We did Raft. Right now we're doing Valheim. Fantastic. Keep going. I love standing weekly events with friends. D&D 5th edition with a group of people I met online and weren't friends beforehand. I will not continue that. I will not sign up for that again. Baldur's Gate 3 co-op campaign with friends. I'd sign up to do that again. 100%. A lot of fun. Board game night. Maybe. Board games are a hobby I was deeply into at one point, but then I was using them as a social crutch to deal with my social anxiety, and I've gotten better at that, so I need them less, but they're still enjoyable. They're enjoyable with people who I'm already friends with. They're not enjoyable as a vehicle to make new friends. I've accepted that. Move on from that. One hobby I've given up on, but my heart doesn't want to give up. My heart deeply does. I have this image in my head of a person who does this. I've always wanted to be this type of person. I might have to give up on the dream of playing piano. I'm sorry, any pianists in chat. I have no musical talent. Not even like talent. I don't have an ear for it. I don't have an ear for music at all. I can't tell if I'm singing on note or off note or what key things are. I don't feel the rhythm. I don't feel the rhyme. I've had this keyboard sitting unused for like a year now, a year and a half now, and like I was taking lessons for a while. I started taking lessons at like my early 30s. And I wanted to get better. I just never did. I never got better. I could never commit to it. It was always like a thing I had to force myself to do. It never felt fun. It was always like I was doing it to fulfill a vision of myself that wasn't me. Of being like this really cool, mysterious Renaissance man who could sit down and play the piano somewhere, bust out Moonlight Sonata, Chunibyo Cape Blow. I think it's my Chunibyo nature. I think I have like a slight Chuni aspect to myself, of like my internal visions, the stories I tell about myself, of being like the hero character and the protagonist, and like framing myself like I'm in my villain arc, or like this ship is happening over here. It's a Chunibyo in me wants to be able to like sit down and dramatically play piano somewhere, and like moonlight streaming in, and like the cherry blossom petals are falling through the window, and like someone stumbles upon it and they're like their breath's taken away. If I get this smaller condo, I might have to find a new home for this keyboard and give up that hope. But I keep telling myself like, exactly, 100%, or Eminence in Shadow, my Eminence in Shadow self. It's same like I have this other deep part of me wants to learn violin, but I'm like, Sanish. It's the same call, the same pull. I got deep in high school, deep into like my Celtic heritage, Celtic background. Oh man, it's so specific. I'm just like, honestly, God, it's Moonlight Sonata. Maybe like some more advanced things like anime music. Let's play some anime music. The Princess Mononoke Hime theme. So let's do Ghibli music. Doing Merry-Go-Round of Life. Oh, if I could just bust out Merry-Go-Round of Life on a piano. That's honestly, maybe I should just like be like, I want to be able to bust out these 3 songs and just these 3 songs. I just got to learn Merry-Go-Round of Life. I got to learn Moonlight Sonata, and then I got to learn like raps, like some like one Gershwin song, and be like, I'm set, I'm here, I'm ready for this. That's the part of me that's not giving up. It's like maybe there's a chance. There's still a chance. If I can retire early one day and do full-time streaming and full-time practice. I looked up how to hook up my computer to like not my laptop, how to stream my piano and to like stream piano practice. But man, it's tough. Right? It has to be brute force. I have no rhythm. I can't hear notes. I'm like not tone deaf because I've tested this before, but I'm definitely like tone hard of hearing. I just know there's some notes that sound like, that make me go quonk and sound bad. That's all I know. So I thought about learning piano. Of like, I'm not sure I can do a hand cam for it, but like, okay, maybe I'm not ready to give up. I'm very close to being ready to give up. Violin is the other one. I got deep into like, Celtic Irish music and like Irish punk and Celtic punk rock and indie Scottish indie rock for about 2001 to about 2009. And that made me really want to learn the fiddle / violin, like deeply. I looked at like electric violins for like, what if I got electric violin? And I tried to teach myself with headphones so no one had to hear me. Or recently I'm like, what if I found like a violin teacher who teaches adults and I just started from scratch? And so like, this Chunibyo nature is still in me. It's still deep and I can't escape it. Maybe I'm not ready to give up. This is the problem. I'm ready to give up. And I think about it, I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm going to hold on. I'll learn it one day. This Fox Boy isn't too old to learn new things. The other one in this category, and I hate to say it because I've done this practice on stream, but drawing is also in this category. There's all these art things that I have had a narrative in my head for decades. For the first 35 years of my life, like, oh, I'm not good at music. I'm not good at drawing. I'm not good at singing, so I shouldn't try. Like, I'm not good at these. I don't have natural, quote unquote, natural talent. Like, I'm just not going to try. I'm not going to bother. I'm not good at them. And I kind of like put myself down about it. I'm not good at socializing. I'm an introvert. I'm not good at like, I'm shy. I'm not good at talking to people. And it's like so detrimental for so long in my life. And so like part of these was trying to break out of that and be like, God damn it, I'm going to learn to do this. I don't care what past me has said. I don't care what the voice in my head. I'm going to be cringe and I'm going to be free. God damn it. This is the year of our Lord 2025. I'm going to stream online. I'm going to be a VTuber, be the anime boy I want to be. And so learning piano, being like, maybe I could learn violin. Being like, maybe I can sing. I can do karaoke. He can't do karaoke. Spoiler alert to everybody. My friend just put up with it and be very polite, and that's fine. Continue being very polite. So I'm gonna ask, like, oh, you're gonna do a karaoke stream? I'm just like, no, man, I wouldn't inflict that on the internet. Or maybe I will. You don't know. It might happen one day. So drawing is another one where I'm like, I keep telling myself, like, I'm going to practice. I'm going to read this article on how to learn to draw. I'm going to do it. And then I'm just like, I need to sit down and practice. And I'm like, look at me getting distracted by not practicing. Haha. Now, all that said, here's some hobbies that I have done in the past that I do enjoy doing and that I will continue to do going forward. I enjoy streaming. There, I said it. I admitted it. I enjoy it for a lot of reasons, and I'll keep doing it. And it's something that I wish I knew I enjoyed earlier, so I could have started earlier. But here we are. I don't enjoy marketing. I don't enjoy making clips, so I just don't do those things. Fortunately, I have a friend who likes doing it, and so I'm just going to collab with him more, so make him make clips of me. I enjoy role playing. I enjoy playing video games with friends. I enjoy reading manga and fantasy. Like, there's things I enjoy that are like, I guess it's like, part of me doesn't want to have consumptive hobbies. I want a hobby or something I enjoy that produces something that brings some joy into the world. And streaming's been the best one so far for that. Kind of low barrier to entry. You don't need skill to stream. Look at me. I don't have skill. You can start. You can do it. You can become a VTuber. You can become a Ping-tuber. You can just put stuff on the internet. If I get more watch hours than I have stream hours, I consider it a success. Whether those people who watch it enjoy it or not my problem. My responsibility ends upon making the content. But the other one, who I stopped doing for about a year and a half there, 2 years there, that I'm starting up again, is indie game dev. I'm gonna say it. I love indie game dev. I love working in game engines and making little games. I've published none of those games. Hello, Bill Kate. Welcome to the stream. I'm talking about hobbies I've enjoyed and dropped and admitting terrible hard facts about myself. I've talked about travel already. That was the last hour. But indie game dev is one I've enjoyed. I think I stopped because... Okay, I stopped for a couple reasons. Multi-layered reasons. One is my employer is restrictive on the types of game dev I can and cannot do in my spare time. Kind of restrictive. So for example, I can't collaborate. I can't share what I make. I can't stream the games I've made. I definitely can't publish them, and I can't talk about them. Bit of a stymieing factor there, which is fine. And that was all in Unity. And then Unity kind of had its whole explosion because it got a shitty CEO and they sank the whole thing and they tried to do a bunch of terrible business decisions. And it felt kind of gross. But recently, in the last month, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to move to Godot. I'm going to make that transition. I'm going to rip off that Band-Aid. And I looked into it. Godot 4 just came out. I'm like, yeah, man, Godot 4.3 came out. Let's do it. I downloaded it. And I looked at GD script. And I'm like, this is Python-esque. And I hate Python. Forget this noise. But like C# was there. Like the Mercy meme coming down from above. The angel I needed to be like, you can use C# Sanish. So I started up relearning and reporting over things from Unity that I know how to do into Godot recently, and I've been enjoying it. I've been actively enjoying it and seeking it out, and I'm like, oh, I guess this is a hobby. Anonymously drop truth buried with lies. Oh, well, that's wise. That is... I like to drop truth buried with lies, not anonymously as well. Also very fun. Because I've streaming's mostly anonymous. So I tell people, I had that always a thing like, do I tell people like in the server that I stream? Because like then that starts breaking the anonymity of it. But when I started thinking about getting to Godot and relearning after a year or two break, I thought, you know what? What if I stream learning Godot? It's not game dev, it's learning a skill. And I'm like, haha, I found a loophole. So I put in an HR request to get approval. Don't ask why I have to do an HR request to do this. It's not like, it's anonymous. My employer will never know. I will never be popular enough for them to know. But in the off chance they do, I do not want to get fired over this. Oh, man, coming with 55 rumors that are believable, tough. So I put in the request. I'm like, dear employer, what if I stream just learning Godot, but not actually making a game? Silence for 2 months. And I'm like, at that point, I lost interest. I'm like, you know what? I'll just do it on my own. I'm not going to bother streaming it. Streaming it's going to be wacky because I have to set up a completely anonymous account on my computer because it involves alt tabbing between like VS Code and Godot and looking at documentation, blah, blah, blah. I got an email this week, 2 months late. Usually it's like a week turnaround, 2 months late. And they're like, oh my God, we're so sorry. This is so late. But yeah, this is totally approved. And I'm just like, I've given up. I gave up on this idea. I shelved it. I'm like, this isn't going to happen. I put it on the shelf. The shelf I call ideas that aren't going to happen. And then it's back. And now I'm just like, well, maybe, unless. So I might do it. I might stream Godot at some point. If I can figure out how to set it up to not dox myself and also talk track while I do it. But then it's like, people will see me writing C# code. And like, it's like, look, I'm a professional in my industry. I'm at the senior level of my career. I've been in it for over a decade. However, for my job, that implies all my technical skills has atrophied to dust. I look back at what I used to do when I started my career and all the skills I knew at the beginning, all the technical stuff, the statistical rigor behind everything, all the latest cutting edge packages and languages and best case stuff. And I'm just like, oh, young Sanish, you knew so much in your more innocent times. Now I'm just like, I can write some basic ass code. And you know what? Works great. You don't need to know how to do advanced code or advanced statistical methods. You know what people want? They want a goddamn bar chart. They want a bar chart, they want a line chart, and that's all they need. And somehow I get paid more with less responsibility, working with higher up the management chain people. Oh, I've scammed them. It's a delightful scam. It's been great. I'm not a man. I don't have to manage people. I'm an IC. I report to a vice president. It's wonderful. Highly recommend it. I'm not sure how I got this job, how I got to this place, but I'm just like, I can't leave it. I can't leave it unless I move up the management chain and let my skills atrophy even more. It's fine. It's fine. My job is just to enable me to stream, have hobbies, pre-order too many anime figurines. Oh, shit. If I buy somewhere and move, I have to reroute all my Tokyo Taco Mode pre-orders to the new address. Oh shit. Oh no, one's shipping. Uh-oh. Awkward if a figurine ships right now. It's a 3-month shipping and I move. One is set to ship in March. And I'm like, shit, it's March. Hopefully I can reroute or just tell my apartment building, hey guys, there might be a big awkward box for me in 2 months. Oh, thank God. Trip, thanks for that pro tip. It was a concern in the back of my head. And I'm like, I have a dozen things pre-ordered now. I became a pre-order monster for coping. Which, by the way, one thing I did not do this month, I did not commission any new art because I blew my fun budget on a Ren Fair outfit and a Yayamiku figure, 1/7 scale figurine. I'm sorry, everybody. I blew that budget. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, I'm in a large corporate building, so they're probably fine. Also, like, my lease isn't up until like October or September, so like, it's still my address. Unless I can break the lease and get someone to backfill it, but there's a good chance I can't. I just have to pay 2 leases for like 3-4 months and sob silently to myself as I watch my savings dwindle. I'm like, that month could have been 10 figurines. 10 figurines. I paid too much in rent. It's a problem. But be reflective, introspective in all facets of your life. That's the lesson here. Ask what actually matters, what brings you joy, what sparks joy in all things. Be it travel, be it hobbies, be it friends and places, not your job. You have to do your job. I'm so sorry everyone lets you know this. You do have to work a job. You do have to make money. Anyone ever tells you you don't and to like money doesn't buy happiness, they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. Oh no, I don't have Stream Alert set up. Oh, I do have Stream Alert set up. They're just on the back there. Line Shoes, #1 fan, thank you for following, even though it didn't show up on the old Stream Alerts because it was set behind my little overlay. Ribbon piece overlay. This guy. Pop, pop. Oh, that's the alert box. No, not that overlay. Wait a second. Why didn't that show? You know what? I need to update that alert box. I've had that before. I'm just not used to getting followers, so I don't have enough bug testing. Alert box update. Alert box update. Just chatting. Just chatting stream. Look at your URL's outdated. Well. Oh, classic anime capitalism brings joy. You know, whenever I talk about this and I'm like, my job's fine. Or like, I work for a corporation. They pay me. I do work. I use that to buy small pieces of plastic that bring joy. Not microplastics. No. Molded plastics. I'm like, wow, I wonder if this company that does this fun thing I enjoy has job openings for me. And invariably, the answer is no. No, they don't. Except for 2 times, or 3 times. One, MiHoYo, the publishers of the hit title Genshin Impact, had a job opening that I was qualified for. And I applied for that job opening. It was US-based, English-speaking, and it was for like their international distribution or something. I didn't get it. All the other jobs were like, you need to speak Mandarin. I'm like, I don't speak Mandarin. I know Ni Hao Ma, and that's it. I took 1 quarter in college, does not count. And it's like, and you have to move to Shanghai. I'm like, I'm out. I applied. There was a job at Crunchyroll I applied for, did not get, pre-Sony acquisition. And there was a job at Discord. I applied for a job at Discord I was hopeful for, and they didn't invite me. I'm just like, you're lost, Discord. You don't deserve me. I would have told them they need emoji leaderboards. I know. I would. Discord, I'm not sure I'd apply to work for, just because I might IPO soon. That's like kind of gross. Crunchyroll was purchased by Sony, and even then, like, I would accept the role at Crunchyroll. I would 100%. Now, where I would deeply not consider, ooh, you know what? I take that. I would accept the role at High Dive as well, because their UI is absolute garbo. Absolute garbo. I'm like, High Dive, you need someone like me to come in there to tell you your UI is trash. And you need resources to fix it. I think that's an altruistic reason to get hired somewhere, because you're like, what you're doing is terrible. You should hire me to make it better. I'm not a UI designer, but I can at least point out the problems. And of course, I applied a bunch of game studios. Also, I think I applied for Starbucks at one point before they went evil. Just because I wanted to work at Starbucks corporate, just so I could jokingly say I work at Starbucks and have people misinterpret it as if I was a barista. This was during my hipster years when I looked like a barista, when I looked like I could just start pulling shots left and right. I say that as if that's past tense. It's not past tense. I probably still look like a barista. If I do, don't tell me. Oh man, I wish I made this model myself. I think one of the reasons I wanted to learn to draw was to be able to like draw anime characters. No, I commissioned this model from an Etsy storefront, actually. I think about it, from I think they are a studio of artists. So there's one person at the front, not the front, the coordinator who speaks English, and they send out to their different artists who are in China, I think. But they don't use AI, which is a very important aspect. But then they also did the character design, which I gave like a mood board and everything. They did the design for it, and I'm just like, absolutely love it. Great, 10 out of 10. And that's one of my goals before I got sidetracked. The whole I'm going to buy a house. We'll see if I can afford it. I wanted to commission a 2.0 model from the ground up. So like first one I did was I did a ping tuber, which I made on PicMix. Then I bought a $10 Etsy model of a fox boy, and then I commissioned this custom one. It was like $300, $200. And then my next step is because I've been doing this for a while now, and the longer I do something, the easier it is for me to justify spending money on myself. I have a long habit of being really bad at spending money on myself on fun things. I've clearly broken it based on this cabinet of anime figurines and acrylic figures next to me. Which reminds me, I should be getting my Mint Phantom doll in the mail tomorrow. I said with my Yai Miko placemat, my Yai Miko keyboard, my Yai Miko game controller, I've learned how to spend money on myself. But do a full commission do like a couple $100 brand new character art commission, and then commission the VTuber model on that, and then get the rigging done on that with more expression. I don't have any. I only have like if you're new here, only a couple expressions. I have my glasses, optional glasses, no glasses. I like the glasses, and then I have a hood for cozy gaming, not sweaty, or I'm scared. But for just chatting, you need the full experience. I don't want people. Though I've had a couple people come into chat. I gotta say, these comments warm the dark corners, the dark cockles of my heart of like, I don't like the weird anime thing you got going, and they leave. I'm just like, cool, man. Weird anime thing. I've never seen a VTuber before. Oh man, I started a year and 2 months ago. I started February 3rd, 2024. And I have a habit. That I know about, and it's a problem of wanting to make everything perfect before I start something. Like camera gear, iPad for drawing, the right drawing pencil, the right keyboard to practice on, the right desktop computer setup, the best monitor, which phone to get. Like, let me research for 3 hours on which coat hangers to buy on Amazon. And so over researching and like until everything is absolutely perfect before starting. And for VTubing, I just said, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to get started. I'm just going to raw dog this, and we're just going to do this live. And so I got a ping tuber model. So that's just like, I went to PicMix, which is you can make online avatars. It's kind of like people put their art on there, and you can like, oh, I want these eyes and this hairstyle and this color and this like cute kawaii face and these ears. And I made one with one expression. I made a second one with a different expression. And then do I have them on here? Oh, I used to have them on here, but I deleted them. And I set up a Fugi, which is a reactive Discord thing for free. So what happens when you link it to a Discord channel? I made a private Discord server. Link it to a Discord channel, and when you're not talking, it's grayed out, and when you are talking, it's illuminated. Very low tech. You don't need tracking with the camera. You just need a microphone for it, which is a big plus. OBS is free, and then I picked my favorite game of all times, Dark Souls 1. I'm like, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to stream Dark Souls. And that's how I started. That's why I started last February. I did that for a month or so, and like, I was getting into it. I was enjoying it. I didn't have it. I started with no overlay, no schedule, and then I made social accounts. I bought for I think I spent like $10 to buy a pack of stream schedule templates on Etsy. Then I spent another $10 on a pre-made VTuber model. There are a lot there's a lot of really good pre-made VTuber models out there. And I highly recommend going that route first. Like, don't absolutely, if you started, and if you want to get started, do not commission a model. Like, spend the least amount of money possible to make sure you actually enjoy it. So go on Etsy. There's free ones now. Pick a free model. From V2 Studio has them. You can look on Etsy, go to different places. Pick a free model. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, pick one you like, right? Like, that's clear. You can always rebrand and stuff. I changed my name and rebranded once because I started streaming under essentially my real name, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't do my real name. You know what? Instead, I'm going to pick a name I've been using in MMO since 2003. That's anonymous. I just have been using it everywhere across the internet for decades. Pick some games you want to stream. Get OBS. Get a microphone of any type. It doesn't really matter. And just try streaming. And then, like, from up there, like, the initial upgrades I did, probably the best ones, was I got the VTuber model. I have I would say I have a new iPhone, so I just used that. Then I looked down at, like, the little Windows taskbar, and I looked at the year, and I looked at myself, and I looked at that year, and I'm like, this isn't a new iPhone. This isn't a new iPhone at all. I'm like, oh, it's the latest iPhone after the iPhone 10. It's a new iPhone. I'm like, hold up. This is a 4-year-old iPhone. It's fine. It's fine. It works great. It works great. So I think that was like $20 to do the iPhone streaming over USB. It's like $25 there. Probably the biggest upgrade. And I heard this advice a lot, and I actually listened to it. And instead of being like, I know better. I'm old. I know better. I'll listen to these 21-year-olds tell me what's important. Getting a microphone. I bought a dedicated standalone microphone. And that was probably like, oh, no, what? I take it back. That's a filthy lie. That's an absolute filthy lie. I didn't buy a microphone. I borrowed a microphone from a friend. My friend's like, I got this spare microphone when I wanted to do podcasting, but I gave up on podcasting, as one does. When you are just FYI, if you're an elder millennial, especially if you're an elder male millennial, you have at some point in your life, this is like 99% accuracy. Maybe even 100% accuracy. You've thought to yourself, should I start a podcast? You've thought those thoughts. Do not try to deny it. Don't tell me you never thought about starting a podcast if you're an elder millennial, because that means you are lying to you and you're lying to me. So everyone thinks about it or has thought about it. But so he had a leftover microphone. He had a leftover stream deck, and he's like, dude, would you like to borrow these to try out? And I'd be like, thank you, my friend, so much. I would love to borrow them and try out. So I borrowed those for a couple months. I liked them a lot. And then after about 7 months, oh no, it was like 8 months in, he's like, hey, I'm thinking about like doing some stuff. Can I get that microphone back? And I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. So I spent the $300 to buy the exact same microphone in white to match my Yayimiko desktop setup. Because before it was black and I wanted all white peripherals. I paid the tax for that. It's fine. So I bought the new microphone, and that helped a lot, I feel. And then after that, I commissioned a new model. I bought an overlay. I bought an overlay and transition screens. And then after a couple months of that, I just made my own. So all my transition screens and background and like the game overlays, all this stuff. I made those in Affinity Design. That's right, I handmade those. Putting my computer graphics skills to real use. Thank you, my computer arts teacher, Miss Hope, from sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school, for teaching me how to use vector art. It's carried me surprisingly far in my life. Surprisingly useful vector art skills. I use vector art skills to make scientific posters. I use vector art skills to make figures for published scientific papers that have hundreds of citations. Thank you, vector art. You're the real MVP art skill of my life. And I actually thought about it, and you probably need to do a refresh on all the my overlay, also my schedule, all vector art. But I did that mostly because I wanted a little bit more control on the formatting, because this is a dumb reason. This is a super dumb reason. All the chat, wrong button. All the game streaming overlays. Oh no, I hit the end of my BGM. Start that over again. All of the game streaming overlays, for example, this one, are made for 1080p. You might notice this is odd. I have an ultra wide monitor that's not 1080p. And so it was a real pain to get it to work with the different overlays. So, I'm like, fine, you know what? I'm gonna make my own overlay. I don't need you. So I made my own overlay instead of trying to like run with like Letterbox or something. A little weird. So that's the order I'd recommend doing things. Like, start with free options, try it out, stream on Twitch, stream on YouTube, whichever one you prefer. You can now multi-stream pretty easily between both of them if you have the good enough internet connection. Before, I started off just on YouTube because all my Oshis were on YouTube. So I'm like, I'm going to stream there. That's where all the people I like are. But honestly, the people who followed me on YouTube have more or less been people I know in real life to some degree. For just streaming, if you're just doing live streaming, YouTube's terrible. You need to do clips and shorts and things and short form videos. That gets you exposure and grows audiences on YouTube. Meh. Twitch has been great for much better visibility on Twitch, much more engagement from people on Twitch. Twitch isn't my favorite platform, but in terms of getting people to see smaller streamers, it is much better. And then set up a social media account. I use Blue Sky. I recommend Blue Sky. Don't use the other ones. You can use the other ones. You can do whatever you want. I recommend Blue Sky. A lot friendlier. Pretty big VTube community of indie VTubers on Blue Sky. Yeah, that's what I recommend to get started. Don't spend money. Make a ping tuber and just try it out. See how it feels. Invite your friends to watch, to interact with. Often I shoot 3 times a week. I shoot for 3 times a week. It depends on, so far I've been doing Wednesday nights, Friday nights, and Sunday mornings. That's kind of been what I've converged on. Mostly because I have standing weekly I've had standing weekly social engagements Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. The Thursday one just finished this week, so that's clearing up. But Monday, Tuesday nights are D&D group and online, like online co-op game night. But I've moved it around to try to feel what feels best for me, and it depends on the game and how regular the game is. Like right now, I'm dedicating Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for Baldur's Gate 2, where I started Baldur's Gate 1 and then playing through to Baldur's Gate 2. I just had thrown a ball on Baldur's Gate 2. Fridays, I kind of flip-flop between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. depending on mood, for drawing or chatting or just some other random game. And then Sunday mornings, I kind of pick a newer game. Or if I'm really into something, it'll take up all 3 time slots, like RimWorld or Dyson Sphere program or Satisfactory or Civilization. So when I get back into RimWorld later this year, it's just going to be on everything. It's just non-stop RimWorld. Nothing but all rimming all the time. It's all you'll get on this channel. But I'm going to be starting this Sunday, for example. My schedule says TBD. My schedule, by the way, is Twitch is terrible for setting up schedules. Just awful. I hate their UI. Their UI is terrible. No good. It's just bad. Just bad. Ugh. I hate it every time I touch it. I don't bother with it anymore. My YouTube channel is my schedule. My Blue Sky has my channel. My schedule pinned. And the Blue Sky link should be available. And you don't need to log in to see things on Blue Sky. It's really nice that way. Haha. Like for example, my next stream I have TBD because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. It's either going to be, I'm going to be starting Ender Lilies as a Metroidvania. That was on Steam sale on that. Or I might be doing a collab stream of Split Fiction with a friend. It depends whether or not his golf tee time gets rained out on Sunday. Sometimes it comes down to that. It's only probably about 6 hours a week. That's what it probably comes down to. My tea's cold. I do 6 hours a week. I've not optimized truly the best times to stream. I know different people have different success at different times of the day, and some of it depends on time zone, work schedule, energy levels. I've had some pretty good success. It's gonna sound streaming Anno and getting European players watching, which makes sense. Anno's a German studio. I think the factory type games pulls a little bit deeper from a European audience. So I've hit like Saturday morning. I get a more wide range of time zones on Saturday mornings than I have, like, honestly, 7 p.m. at night, Pacific time. Not my ideal time to stream. Like, if I had to pick a time I wanted to stream, it would not be 7 p.m. at night. Like, it is chock-a-block full of everyone. Like, on one hand, this is where I put on like my growth marketing hat and like my data science hat here. I'm like, the biggest audiences are probably watching in the evening after work. They're cooking, they're watching dinner. 7 p.m., 4 p.m. to hit the East Coast time is probably a pretty sweet spot there. But also, that's when everyone else is streaming, right? And so like, okay, that's when everyone's streaming. Okay. The audience I could hit is the English language audience in other time zones. I'm like, let's shift 8 hours. Hit prime time Europe or prime time Japan, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia. I've got some Australians in chat before. And so I'm like, okay, to do that, I would need to be like, their 8 p.m. is my noon or my early a.m. And I'm like, that'd be great. Weekdays, that time slot would be perfect. Then I'm like, I have a job. Womp, womp, womp. Womp, womp, womp. And so I'm streaming now in the evening, stymied by my need to work a job. Probably because I have absolutely no plans to monetize. Nor could if I wanted. I don't qualify to monetize. And if I did, it'd be a couple dollars. Also, my employer is like, you strictly cannot monetize streams, otherwise you'll get fired. And I'm like, fair enough. They pay me way more than I could ever make streaming. I'm not gonna risk that one. Thank you very much. And also, I don't want to monetize my hobbies. Like, honestly, people are like, oh, you crochet? Have you ever thought about opening an Etsy shop? Oh, you do drawings. Have you thought about selling them or doing commissions? And I'm like, man, I don't want a side hustle. I don't want to monetize what's fun. That just like sucks the joy out of it. Like, it's like take all the joy that could exist in this thing and just squeezes it out under the guise of capitalism. It's like, blah, no. I want to do this because it's fun and enjoy myself and have Zatsu chats instead of going to therapy. That's what I want to do. And talk about people, and hopefully they don't show up in the stream in the off chance that'll ever happen. Stream games with my friends. Use it. And this is why I like streaming. And this is why I like game development. There are so many facets to it besides the main activity. Like, it's not just writing code or like, building levels. It's not just about playing the game and streaming. There's all these side facets, other skill sets and things you could learn and do. Like, I practice graphic design and make this background behind me and this like this overlay and learn some like basic animation skills again, modern tech. Now that Flash is dead, rest in peace, Flash. You are missed. Or it's like, oh, I can practice social media skills, or I can look at making clips, or I can learn how to make pixel art, or like marketing, or look at audio effects, or like animations. Like, there's all these different facets you can learn and like glom on. It's not just like the same thing over and over and over and over again. I like learning things. I like the journey. Journey before destination, as a wise windrunner said. Look up like copyright-free background music, free assets, learn about learning what the commission process for art looks like and what I enjoy out of that. And like, I don't know, I'm about the process. It's more fun. But this is after 35 years of introspection. Good night. Thanks for joining. Enjoy bed. Sleep well. It's a Friday night, so it's always important to get a good night's rest. Hopefully it's your weekend and it can be a nice one. Thanks, and thank you again for subscribing. I always love answering questions. Several things I enjoy in life a lot, and I have to admit, I love talking about myself. It's a sin. Not a sin. It's because I'm a Chunibyo protagonist. love talking about myself, and I love answering questions. I love answering questions in two formats. One where I know the answer and I can share my decades of experience, and one when I am making up answers and sound very authoritative and people believe me. We call it romancing the truth. But I'll never do that. If people ask honest, earnest questions about advice, I will never make up things there. Only if I'm asked things like, what is that bird? Or how does this thing work? Or what's the history of that object over there? Then it's free game. But actual advice, I feel like I appreciate people who can learn from advice. I have a sibling, I have people I know who cannot learn from advice and have to learn from direct experience, and it's made their life very hard. So if you can learn from asking questions and being curious, you're gonna go far in this world. If you have to be spoon-fed everything, never ask questions, and have to learn from direct experience, you're gonna have a tough time. You'll have a tough time out there. Probably. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you live in a good country. Maybe you live in a sane country with good social safety nets, and you don't have these sorts of problems. Oh, whimper. I'm probably gonna wrap things up. I hit my 2-hour mark. After I start streaming for 2 hours, I turn to a pumpkin, or my voice starts to go, which I'm starting to feel. I think I have everything on my list. Let me see. I think I'll check my list here. House buying, travel planning, rainforest, hobby retrospective, D&D ending. Is there anything else on this list? What's the other list? Ooh, that's a... Okay. My previous page Zatu list, I'm not going to go into that. That's deeper, more personal Sanish lore on a deeper personal level. We're not going to end this one. It's too deep into this. Vibe's not right. We don't need to talk about my personal growth journeys. Well, again, maybe we will in the future Zatsu, in a future Foxu backstory. We'll get into it. The thought process of like, what is my identity? Let's look into this. Let's get deep. Let's go deep. Let's get like, ask the real questions next time. Questions like, what have you learned about yourself over 13 years of relationships? What caused your past 2 relationships to end? And why they end up with similar fates? Let's not look, we can shelve those questions for later. We don't have to get into them now. Not this time. Not this time. Maybe next time. Maybe once I get off this relatively alcohol-free few months, and I buy myself a bottle. We can buy myself a bottle of wine. We can sit down with an overly sized wine glass. I can hold it in both hands, and we can get into that sort of discussion. That's for the future. And by the future, I mean maybe like in a month or so. Maybe 2 months. Probably like 2 months. Well, that's a month and a half. We'll see. We'll see. But thank you all for joining me on this lovely Friday evening. Maybe your Friday was an evening. Maybe your Friday was like, maybe it was pouring rain where you were. Maybe it was sunny. Maybe there was snow. For me, it was pouring rain. I just had to lean back and look at my window. Very atmospheric. It was an atmospheric pouring rain, so I kind of appreciate it for that. Yes. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for your questions. I always appreciate comments. It makes this way more fun when there's comments and questions and people engaged. I'm not just like talking into the void, which I would do anyway. My poor next door neighbor behind this wall is like, oh my God, he's talking again nonstop. Make it stop. So I'll see everyone next time I stream, 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, PADT, whatever it is, 10 a.m. West Coast, United States, Sunday morning, Split Fiction, or Ender Lilies. Maybe Monster Hunter. We'll see how I'm feeling. That's why I put TBD. And with that, I say good night. Good night, farewell, cute chat, kit chat. I'll see you all next time I stream. Good night, everybody.